first day of the rest of your life. Tomorrow showed up early to the show. Welcome to the daydream. Don't wake up whatever you do. Life is flashing by before your eyes. A new kid's case to join the record time. They'll teach you how they did it, but good luck keeping up. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Couldn't get any better, should have been much worse. Welcome to the last road on the ride of your life. Was paved with good intentions, hoping this is not all that you wrote. Your mother's undercover on the social net. Big brother is each other watching you. Weren't you once a new kid on the road? Mortality's alarm clock goes off before you know. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Couldn't get any better, should have been much worse. Welcome to the last road on the right of your life. Was paved with good intentions, hoping this is not all that you wrote. A routine operation, I'm sure you'll be fine. Count backwards to 10, I'll see you on the other side. The anesthesia's wearing off, surgeons are looking boss. When you were living the moment again, were you awake the whole time?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life.
We have to work out a lot of details.
It's okay, it's just our first time here. We're going to practice.
Because we were only playing music then. But it's one of our favorite songs.
Oh, here we go. I see. Hello. We're coming to you live for the first time. We're just opening up our
Welcome.
studio. We're so excited.
Yeah, it's great to have everybody here. So I've got to figure out right here on the Facebook interface how to actually comment. Right now I'm commenting as Juliana and not as me. So I don't know how to do that. But I'm going to impersonate you for a while.
How do you know you're impersonating me?
Well, I'm just because I can see your little pretty icon right there.
Oh.
So thank you guys for coming here. It's we've been working on another studio. This is where we actually do our Science and Saucery, but we've been working on this studio for a while now so that we can start doing live streams. We'll probably keep Science and Saucery as audio only, but we're going to do some extra stuff here. And so we figured we're locked up just like you are, and we thought, why not do a test live stream right now? Because we didn't plan it. We just sat down and said, let's go.
So how are you all doing? You know, it's so nice to be able to have this technology now for our first time ever being all of us holed up. Love to hear how everyone's doing. I know it's been so crazy, right? And we actually got stuck here. We're supposed to be in Los Angeles, and obviously that's not happening. So we're here in Huntsville, Alabama, and we've just been working. I mean, the good news is this is our life anyway. We always work from home. We spend days on end. Well, usually in our pajamas, but now we're going to have to put clothes on. And, so it's been good for us. We're working with our clients. We're creating new content. We're developing a class that's coming soon. And we want to bring our podcast live, and we want to do some of these so that we can reach out and connect with you guys. So would love to hear how everyone's doing. If you have questions for us, you know, what else, Raymond James?
Yes, I'm just waiting for somebody to ask
Looking
some
for
question down
comments.
here or comments. I'm looking down here, and so maybe somebody's.
Yeah, Kate says it's getting hard, right? It's just like, you just want to go out. I honestly, what I'm doing to keep me like sane I've been watching a lot of memes and a lot of comedy, a lot of news too, but like the comedy and the memes that are about people just, hi from Missouri. Hi, Kathy. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Yeah, just like, trying to like laugh because it's surreal. All of this is surreal. Like everything we knew kind of changed over in a dime, like just boom, everything's so different right now. I think it's temporary, obviously, but it is hard. We feel it too. How are things in terms of your surroundings? Like I know there's a lot of people that are, holed up alone, and that's got to be even harder. I can't even imagine. Hopefully, you have like a companion animal or something, someone around nearby. But I think these are great ways to connect with people. And thank goodness I'm like, the way I get to keep in touch with my children is with FaceTime. And that's amazing. I'm so grateful for FaceTime because at least I get to at least see them and talk to them.
Yeah, and that's one of the really interesting things about this. If you, from my perspective, since I've been working out of my home or on the road for the last 10 years, a lot hasn't actually changed for me. I mean, other than not being able to find toilet paper one day, but I had a supply, so I didn't even worry about that. Amazon Prime has how I did most of those things, and so all that stuff was on auto, and it came here anyway. But other than that short period of transition, nothing much has changed about my life because I'm not doing like I was at NASA for years or at my other company for years, where I'm getting up every day and going there. Everything is here, and it's got its upsides and its downsides. Its upsides is that nothing changes much. You can get up and you do that. The downside is that you have to get that motivation to get up. It's easy to get sidetracked, as everybody well knows. And I think some of you are feeling that right now, where you probably can't stay focused on what you're doing because you're used to getting up and moving into a different space. And so I've sort of conquered that challenge, and that's been easy. But it's also really amazing that for the first time, if you happen to hear our podcast this week with Peter Diamandis, Peter was my sort of the brother I never had all through college. And we spent so many times together with launching companies and doing things together, first in space exploration. And in Peter's latest book, The Future is Faster Than You Think, he outlines how exponential technologies are happening. And if you think about it right now, many of us are connected in ways that we couldn't even imagine just 20 years ago. So even though we're holed up or we're on lockdown in some places, really you can communicate with everyone. You can communicate. When I first started traveling out of town, it was impossible to talk to my children when I was out of town. And now video, I actually, there was a time when they were teenagers when they were texting me from the next room. I think everybody's had that experience, right? But so,
Yep.
so the idea that things have changed a little bit and we are rearranging things, I think we're in a better position now for something like this to happen than at any time in history. And for the first time in human history, we literally have tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, physicians, healthcare people, all working on a common cause. And that's actually a pretty positive thing. I know that we hear nothing but Crisis News Network most of the time and just doom and gloom all the time. But actually the really positive underlying to this is that regulatory issues are being brushed aside. People are actually solving problems and not trying to mostly work in bureaucracy. And that was the biggest change I found when I moved from NASA that was highly bureaucratic. In a mature bureaucracy, there's a rule against everything. And so when I moved from NASA over to my own private company, at first we were lean and mean and we could just do anything. And then, within 8 to 10 years, we had our own company politics. We had our own company processes that we supposedly couldn't break these rules. And I understand why the rules are there, and I understand why bureaucracy is there. But at the same time, every now and then we need to clean things aside and really innovate as humans. And I think this is a really good time that we're doing that.
Yeah, I want to go to absolutely. It's been really exciting. We talked a lot about that in the podcast this week and last week too. Well, mostly this week about the innovations and the technology capacity. I wanted to address. Christine just said, "Hi, Christine." Oh wait, I just lost your comment. It was great. It was about like keeping a schedule and during the week and meals and yoga and a little activity. What'd you write? Work, healthy cooking, no drinking, reasonable bedtime, waking early. I mean that's the goal, right? Like everyone's kind of thrown into this. Wait, what do I do? What day is it today? I've seen so many funny memes about like, oh, looking forward to another day of, sitting in my pajamas and whatever. Like it just every day kind of starts to look the same. Or like I saw one that said it's Tuesday or, day because every day kind of starts to feel the same. And that's, what I would suggest too from a logistics perspective is sticking to a schedule, even though everything seems so out of sorts. It's like technological. What was that? Hearing myself in
Yeah, there you go.
stereo.
Sorry about that.
Okay. And just like sticking to a schedule no matter what. And it's interesting because my kids too, they're thrown out of school. And so their schedule's so messed up and so confused. And oh, it's just so crazy. So like having a schedule is a really good thing and sticking to it. And in terms of, we're working with all of our clients with, lifestyle transformation, diet transformation, and just eating healthy. And it's interestingly, it's actually more challenging now when you're home and have the time because it's like this, constant, either stress eating people are doing or this, just too much time with that's unstructured. And so what I would suggest is, sticking to meal times and planning ahead and just kind of being adamant about it because it's so easy to just get off track when you're not on a regimented schedule. Right, Raymond?
Yeah, it really is. And it's easy. Well, it's also easy to keep going longer than, there's never an off time. So one of the other issues that I think you have is that we tend to just go, 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 go. And it's like, when do you stop? And so, you know, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day ends up becoming the same. We work with a lot of clients on weekends. And so because that's their time off. And so those tend to be really full and, hours on the phone that we end up spending doing that. But, it's, I really, again, I really think that there's going to be a positive silver lining that comes out of what we're doing. And maybe because we really want to test some of our other stuff as well, we've talked about, and I want to go to this slide, but we've talked about Healthspan and in our book, the Healthspan solution. And we, in terms of defining what Healthspan is versus Lifespan, I don't know if anybody's read the book also, Lifespan by David Sinclair. That and our book actually go really well hand in hand. But, what we really want to do is try to maximize the time where we're really healthy and where we're living a healthy life. And so part of our focus is we open the book and we talk about this frequently is, you're not going to live forever eating carrots. And so, but looking at this slide about what Healthspan is really, it takes about 15 years to make it to reproductive prime. Another 15 to 20 years of reproductive prime. And if you think about it, during these phases, we think about the world, we don't have a world population problem, despite the fact that we have widely divergent and disparate nutritional inputs for people. People tend to do pretty well on anything for that first 15 years to reach reproductive age. And then being able to fulfill your genetic destiny during that next 15 or 20 years of reproductive prime, that's also not very difficult, So, this part of it, if anybody was talking about an evolutionary diet, and then even if we add the next 15 years of raising our youngest offspring to reproductive age, what we find that somewhere around 45 or 50, evolution's done with you. And what we're trying to do specifically with the kinds of recipes that we have in the Healthspan solution, what Juliana has been talking about as the plant-based dietitian for over a decade now.
15 years.
What I've been pushing is, how do we maximize that period after reproductive prime? Because this doesn't have to do really with evolution. This has to do with, how we can mitigate knowing what we know about food, how we can mitigate chronic disease after that. And what that ends up looking like in sort of a different graphic form, what that health span looks like is that right now, or 100 years ago, I should say, we lived to 45 or 50. Peter and Juliana and I talk about this on this last Science and Saucery podcast. What we've done now is we haven't really lengthened the healthy period. We've really just we're living longer, sicker. Michael Greger talks about this. If you've ever seen any of his live lectures, he talks about this a lot, about we're just dying slower, more expensive, and more sick. And then when we look at what we could do in the next decade is we should start living longer, healthier, meaning we start to expand first. And this is the part we can do right now with diet by switching to this diet of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, mushrooms, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. We really do have a chance of extending that healthful period, probably well into our 80s or 90s. But what I think is going to happen is we're going to start seeing the intersection of the really radical pharmacological interventions, right? Yeah. And those things are going to allow us to radically do it. So it's probably not unrealistic that we might be able to add first to 15 or 20 years, but after that, another 15, 20 years. And for some people, I know that kind of makes people uncomfortable. They say, oh my, we have too many people, or what are we going to do? But I'm excited by this, because just like we see right now, in an instant, we can have, this one. It may turn out that this pandemic is better or worse than we think. But in an instant, we could instantly see, a huge reversal in population and lose a lot of people at the same time. So this idea that we don't want to live longer, if a person has a choice and they don't want to, that's one thing. But that's one of the things we really want to do.
Here's a good question, actually, to tailgate that from Samuel. He said he's part of the pajama party over here. Woohoo! He said, in terms of innovation, is there anything in terms of dietary considerations or business-wise that has come to fruition given what is happening on a day-to-day basis? What do you think?
I think that what people have seen is in their grocery stores. So in a lot of places, if you think about it, all the staple foods, things that people can hoard, those things very quickly left the shelf, and they're now being stored in people's pantries and not at the store. There isn't less food. It's just been moved. And that supply chain will continue to fill. I think we overproduce food by about 44%. More than 40% of food ends up being disposed and not used because of inefficient transportation, storage, et cetera. In terms of whole food and in terms of fresh food, like the fresh produce, we saw maybe a very quick, at least here in Huntsville, we saw a quick loss of things like potatoes and onions, some of the more common things. I never saw a run on Brussels sprouts. We had Brussels sprouts and they seem to be always there every time I've gone. But we saw those. But unlike the staples, since people can't hoard fresh vegetables and fruit to a big degree because they spoil faster, I think in those cases, we'll just see that supply chain catch up and we probably won't see a bigger issue. But in terms of the business innovations, one of the things that's popped up is DoorDash, and so many people that are using delivery service. And now in everything, every delivery service now has a button that says, I don't want to interact, or how does it say?
Oh, the no contact.
Yeah, no contact, right?
That's so brilliant.
So that's an innovation. I think in really populated areas like Los Angeles or Boston or New York, you guys have tons of Uber Eats, tons of DoorDash. In places like Huntsville, there's just not as many people doing that. And this actually might be a benefit because now I think more people are using those services. So a lot of restaurants right now are shut down here only because I think they don't realize they could have a full business doing this. And I think that people would, once you start using it, Huntsville has a lot of people from other places. So once you start using that service, you tend to reuse it. So, that I think, here people think of stuff like, Domino's Pizza or something delivering, but they don't really think of all kinds of food delivering. I mean, there's some people that use it, but it's not
Yeah,
as common.
this is way more common. Like in New York, when I lived in New York City, it was like every day people you can get something from anywhere at any time of day, and it was kind of exciting. And I think it is exciting that that's going to evolve here. And what I'm even most excited about right now is all the potential for telemedicine. I've been doing nutrition counseling online for a long time, and I've been trying to like figure out navigate the situation. And it was, it's like a learning curve, and you're learning how to do it, how best to navigate that, how best to connect with clients. And I think that now that this is going to happen more, one of the best things about it is I could see clients all over the world, and I do. And it's like amazing that I could sit down and help someone in the middle of a place where I would never be able to connect. And I think that's going to just explode right now that there's like new policies in place, and you could basically see any healthcare professional you want almost now. I mean, there's going to be so much more access, which I think will just raise the game for healthcare, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, that has a lot of potential.
Yeah. And a quick point, Jessica Kroc from Crocs in the Kitchen. Well, thank you guys for featuring our cheese sauce. We love it.
Yay.
But she made a good comment. If you're listening to the stream, I actually am streaming it on several pages at once right now just to see how that goes. But if you come over to Plant-Based Dietitian, that's where we're actually reading and looking at comments, and that will sort of help us and we can interact more. We plan on interviewing Jessica and Brian this weekend.
Yeah.
So little spoiler alert. So
our podcast
next week's next week's Science and Saucery will be with Jessica and Brian. If you haven't seen their YouTube channel, Crocs in the Kitchen, it's really a lot of fun.
It is. They're so much fun and they're so inspiring. So check it out. So Crocs in the Kitchen with a K, Crocs with a K.
Yeah. And we may upload this to that as well. And by the way, we have our we haven't told anybody, so there's only like 20 subscribers, but we have a Science and Saucery YouTube channel that is live now. We've been repurposing our redirecting our podcast there. We still rather you listen to our podcast, and it's going to primarily stay an audio podcast. I think we're going to do that, but we do have a YouTube channel. We planned on doing YouTube live streams. In fact, we'll probably do Facebook Live, a YouTube. If you have a preference to where you want us to do it, we'll probably do them simultaneously, but
let us know. We want your comments. Like, that's why we want to get out here. We really want to connect. We want to know what you want to hear about on the podcast, because, it seems like once a week isn't that much content, but every week you're like, what are we going to talk about? Who are we going to interview? And we have lots to say, but we want to know what you guys are interested in. I have to just shout out. I love Dan. Thank you for your comment. That's so funny. He said, after the 17th double batch, I now have my book trained to automatically open up to the mushroom wild rice recipe. I make that with cauliflower rice, like obsessively too. Like when I'm in LA, that's all I eat. It's my favorite. So that's funny.
Is there any other ones here we missed?
Hi, Jessica. Jessica's here. So let us know. We really want to know your feedback. So come here on Plant-Based Dietitian, or we also have a Science and Saucery page and a Healthspan solution page. We're on Instagram, everywhere. So whatever you guys are, we want to hear from you. Yeah, we could do Q&As. We could do consistent Q&As. Hi, Stacy.
Yeah, in fact, if we do the wide shot, if you want to see where we really are, I have like crazy long arms and little tiny arms over here because of the silly lens. But anyway, this is actually where we work every day too. This is our desk.
Wait, I have to brag for you for 1 second. Can you guys see? Because there's a little delay on the Facebook page. Yeah. Raymond built this desk from scratch and the bookshelves, like from plywood, and stained it, and the chairs. And I mean, I think that's so impressive. And I think I would keep saying it all started with the desk, because I want all of you to see how this guy is so crazy talented in so many.
Yeah. So Juliana on her side, she has all the books. That's basically every nutrition and metabolism book from 1740 until 1930, and about 1930 the message doesn't change. So if I would take any scientist from the early 20th century, say from 1920, maybe even the 19 teens forward, and plop them down today, yes, we know more about mechanisms, cellular mechanisms, we know more about certain biochemistry, but the general nutrition message hasn't really changed. And so that's on that side. And then this side over here is really all of our newest ones. This is like where our textbooks and our DRIs and some of the other things that we've looked at over the time. This is how I spent the last 10 years of my life going through all these. And so it's really been interesting to see the juxtaposition of the old and the new. And what's really amazing is a lot of those books over there, they're old, but at the same time, their data is good. Because if you know, for those of you that like to do research or like to look into this stuff, diagnosis bias affects all of us. And what's really interesting is they have some crazy, silly explanations for what is going on, but their data is actually still good. So it's actually a lot of fun. If you know how the story ends, you can go back and look at their data, and their data wasn't collected or published with today's bias. So whereas I can see bias in lots of papers that I read, and I have to read around that and look for it, back then they just had crazy explanations, but their data fits. And so a lot of what I did leading up to this was to take data from 100 years ago and then go out into my to my midlife crisis California girl catching calorimeter lab.
You said it.
and I would reproduce the experiments out there and say, they were right then. It was much more complicated for them to do the same thing, and the answers are still the same today. So that's really kind of a reassuring thing that we actually can reproduce this. It's really kind of fun.
And Roseanne asked what DRIs are, and DRIs are the dietary reference intake. So the Institute of Medicine has all those guidelines, which is kind of what guides us to be like, oh, we need to have 150 micrograms of iodine every day, and we need to all of those guidelines, the upper limit, the daily recommended, all of those different guidelines that you see are from they're all encompassed in the term DRI. So that's all the tables and everything we have here. Oh, Samuel has another question. We want questions. You're not hogging. We want questions. He said, I was curious how you came to start holding cooking/dietary retreats in Chiang Mai. Oh, we didn't. As a dietary nomad, I lived in Chiang Mai for 6 months on and off from 2014 to 2016. And I'm impressed that you're doing workshops there. Just curious. So no, we didn't. We visited there for a couple of days, but we loved it. But our retreats that we've done now 2 years in a row, hopefully it's going to be all safe by January because I want to go back so bad, have been in Hua Hin. So there's this plant-based culinary school, like a full-blown, beautiful culinary school. Christine, you could talk about that because she was there. And it's at Hua Hin, so it's kind of like 3 hours away from Bangkok. Is it south of Bangkok?
Yeah.
And on the beach, like on the coast, and it's this beautiful five-star resort called Evasan, and the school is called Blue Lotus, and it's this amazing high-tech, state-of-the-art culinary school, and it's all plant-based, which is like, oh, like heaven, right? It doesn't get any better than that. So they have this full team. They've been amazing. We've worked with several different chefs and instructors, and it's just such a well-oiled machine. And we go in there, and so what we've done is we bring our students, our people from all around the world. You guys could still sign up because we're still planning on going in January. I mean, like that's a while away. Oh gosh, I really hope that everything's fine by then. But what is our website?
Yeah, plantbasedthai.com.
Yeah, plantbasedthai.com. And we could put a link in here. But it is just such an amazing week. So we go there, we get there on like a Sunday. It starts a Sunday night. We have a welcome dinner, or like we just do like cocktails and little appetizers and just get to a meet and greet, and we meet everyone. And then, everyone gets into their villas and their rooms, and you check in, and it's so gorgeous there overlooking the water. And then the next Monday through Friday, we have classes. So I think the first day we teach first. So Ray and I will give a lecture on all things Healthspan. We'll do like a nutrition Healthspan lecture. And actually that's usually later, but the first day it's first. And then the culinary instructors come in and teach. Every day is a different theme. Like there's a raw day and there's a Thai themed day. And every day you're making this extraordinary food. You've got it's like 2 people to a table, and they like spoil you because they do a lot of your mise en place. So you don't really have to do a lot of work, and it feels like you do because you cook up these amazing things that you can't believe you just made. And the best part is then you put it all on all of your plates and you gather it up and you go sit at the bar area, which is outside overlooking the ocean, and we eat and hang out. And then usually the lecture, if it wasn't before, it's after. And then you have time for, well, my favorite part is massage. Like we walk right next door, and the they all hello, and they come and they you all sit outside on, and you get these amazing massages. And, it's just so nice. Raymond loves the coconut water every day, and we just love it. So we can't wait to go back. And we started doing them because the culinary school just was like the perfect location. It just ended up being amazing. And we've done them 2 years in a row. We've done 3 retreats so far. And
It's been great.
it's been great.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah. See,
yeah.
Christine says so beautiful and great chefs. I can't recommend the experience enough. I'm dying to go back. I know. We got to go back.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you go to plantbasedthai.com, I was trying to bring it up to see if I could bring the video over and we could watch that all together real quick.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, beautiful people. These people like you, Christine, that we've met there, like a lot of people we didn't even know. And they were coming to meet us for the first time there, and like friends for life. Like I feel like we had such deep connections that we've made with these beautiful people around the world. It's just such a neat environment. I loved it so much. I can't wait to go back. We also started planning, but then all of this got in the way. A tour in France, and it was it wasn't a retreat. It wasn't culinary. We weren't cooking. Instead, we were actually just eating and drinking and touring and sightseeing. And I've never been to France, so I'm excited to do that. Oh, what do we have? I'm
going to see if I can pull this off. This is
cool.
technology
Hi,
here.
Sarah.
So let's see. I see something going on over there. So let's see how this works.
So yeah, let us know if you'd want to go to France. And we were actually planning next December. So December 2021, which I'm sure, gosh, everything should be fine by then. Knock wood. Want to get back to normal. We all just want to get out again. Like, I can't believe I haven't been on a plane in over 2 weeks. It's so weird.
All right. Let's see if I can pull this off. I bet I can't.
Cool.
Let's see.
You could do it.
But we don't have audio right now, do I? So let's see how I can do that.
Chilies. Everything's better with hot chili pepper. That's salt, by the way. Did you guys see all that salt? Oh, those are the floating markets in Amphoe. They're so beautiful. A lot of crowds, a lot of people. I can't imagine what it looks like right now, but everything's just empty.
It's really great.
Oh, yeah, we made that pizza. There was a pizza class. Oh, this is the resort. These are like some of the villa rooms.
I don't see any video on here.
Oh, you don't? Well, no, there is. It's just a delay. I see it.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, and that's right in the middle. We take pictures. We learn how to be like Instagrammer photographers. This makes my mouth water. That's Christoph.
I think it went off for a sec for some reason.
Oh, I see it.
I see it now, but it wasn't on.
Oh, and that's my favorite massage lady. She's going to be gone though. She moved. So sad. I miss them all. Nah, her name was Nah. Oh, the vegetable markets. We went to the vegetable markets. They were like mind blowing. Samuel, I wonder if you love the food there. Talk about the food in Chiang Mai. Did you go
Butterfly tea?
Good. And did you go to that's in Chiang Mai right there?
Good Soul's
Kitchen.
Our friends own that, Daniel
and Bobby. Oh, we love that restaurant so much. I don't know if you guys saw, I did a quote unquote mukbang. We went to town. We tried like every single thing on the menu. Oh, and then the monkeys that were so right there. It was so cute. What are those? Like
those are just
snakes.
roots.
Those are something. Yeah. But that's literally our view from the resort. That's how pretty it is.
That's it. All this corn everywhere.
So lush.
That's one of our classes right there.
Yes. Sawadee-ka.
Oh,
those are so fun.
Yum.
Those little leaf thingies. I forgot what they're called. Oh gosh. Just amazing food. Everything's so fresh. And it's spicy. If you guys who likes spicy? Who's my spicy? Samuel's trying to stimulate some questions from other live viewers.
Just keep asking, okay. Samuel. That's fine.
We don't care. How have Ray and Juliana helped change your dietary lifestyle habits? Oh, this is a great question. Thank you. Personally, the biggest revelation, aside from consuming low-calorie vegetables while trying to lose weight, has been to stay still. Hold off on the exercise while you lose weight. It has been a game changer. Since coming home to Canada from Argentina on January 20th, I've lost 20 pounds adhering to your advice. Whoa.
That's great.
Congratulations. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Like when you separate exercise from food. Like nobody talks about that, and yet you need to do it. Congratulations. Spicy. Yes, Sarah. I know. I kind of love your last name. That's great. Yeah. Anyone else? Who else here has had?
There she is. There's Christine right there.
Oh, where? Oh, I missed
She
her.
was just on. Yeah.
Wait, I'll see it in the delay over here. I love that.
There she
cicada
is.
market.
That's her. There she is again.
You're seeing something
the lady
different
with
than I
style.
am. Oh, she has so much stuff. Oh, there she is. I see you. Gorgeous. Oh, yum. Yeah, so just like
Yeah.
3 hours. Like there she is again. There, so it's just 3 hours of cooking. Oh, there's Izzy. 3 hours of cooking, many hours of eating, as many hours as possible massage. That's what I call a vacation. Aw, this makes me miss everyone too.
I know. It's so great.
Yeah, Thailand is wonderful for plant-based, Samuel.
It really is. And the other thing
And the
that's
fruit.
amazing is the totally different palette that you get there. It's just amazing that you can have such a wide palette of food that's very different than what we have. And you really you don't miss pulling the seafood out. You don't miss those things. It's really good in and of itself. Danielle said, had a great success with your guidelines, and I'm maintaining as best as I can during lock-in.
Oh, so you said it, Danielle, so I could say it too. She just kicked Tushy. She did such a good job. Oh my gosh, she just killed it. And like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, Danielle. You're amazing. You're maintaining it amazingly. Like she got down to, what was that, like you never thought you would go down to that weight, right? And she looks amazing.
Sit
I got to
your
finally
ass
meet her.
down.
Oh my gosh.
Sarah
I was so
says,
excited. What?
Sarah says, sit your ass down is a great chance to reset the palate and diet and cooking habits. It really is. I think it's great. I think it's a good opportunity for everyone in terms of being able to. Why does this keep doing this? It keeps going.
See, yeah,
off.
Danielle said she never thought she can get here, and she just did such a. And she made it look really easy. She really did. It was, you think, oh, there's no way that can never happen. I mean, we had such a good week. We talked about this in our podcast, but we've had in the last couple of weeks, like we had a lot of people start at the same time, so there was this lag, and we just got to the point where so many people finished this last couple of weeks, including you, Danielle. Well, you were about like 3-4 weeks ago, but wow, I mean, it's so exciting to see people that really never thought they would get to this other end of it. It's mind blowing how much it's impacted their lives in so many different ways, and it just like fills our heart. Like this is like we feel so blessed to be able to have this as a job and to actually get to be part of everyone's journey, and to see like the impossible unfold, and it just happens so predictably. Like we just had a client today. We were telling her like she said, you told me exactly when I would get to this weight, and she didn't believe it. And here today, she's at exactly what we predicted. So you like that quote? Did you just put that quote up?
Yeah, but I'm seeing that every single time I do that, it's switching the output for some reason. I'm not sure why. See, it just did it again.
Ha! Christine said, "Skinny jeans forever." That's right, sister. Aw. Huh?
I don't know what else to do. It's not.
I don't know. Just
won't.
read it. You could just say it. Yeah. Congratulations, Danielle. Congratulations, Christine. It's so inspiring, you guys. You should tell your stories. Because we all, like, all of us have the same thing. Like, we all deal with food in the same way. We're all in this environment. We all have the same struggles, and we're told the same things, and we're told to exercise. You're not exercising hard enough. All those things that we're constantly bombarded with that just makes you feel broken. And that is our biggest message. Like, we just want everyone to know that you're not broken and that everyone can do this. It's biology, and we're just mismatched in our environment right now. And it's what's so inspiring is watching that happen over and over and over again. Like, everyone is so much more similar than what we're told. What I was taught in grad school, what physicians are taught, is everyone's different. Everyone's a little bit different, but I don't think so. Not that much. Really, not that much. We are all humans. We're genetically very, almost exactly the same. 99, what is the genetics? 99.9% the same. I don't know. I'm not a geneticist, but it's something like that.
So I'm not sure why it's doing this. It'll be
Sarah
eventually we have to look for it.
asked, how do you feel about breakfast? I'm never hungry till 10 or 11 in the morning, even though I wake up between 6 and 7. Good question, Sarah. So if you looked into Healthspan Solution, I don't know if you saw the book, we got rid of time of day eating. Like there's just no reason. It's all marketing. There's no such thing as breakfast. There's no such thing as breakfast
Well,
foods.
there is. Break fast is the
right.
first meal you eat of the day. And so you can break fast in the morning, you can
Anytime.
break fast in the afternoon, you can break fast 3 days from now. The point here is that the idea that you eat this first massive meal in when you wake up and stay in the fed state from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed is completely marketing. There is really nothing behind in terms of a science perspective. Now, eating earlier generally is better than eating later generally, but the idea that you need to have the most important meal of the day in the morning was a marketing campaign of the early 20th century. So,
And what it looks like is that it's not just what time you start eating, it's the time you spend in the fed state. So if you are not hungry till 10 or 11 or 12 or 1, and you have your first meal, and then you maybe have a second meal a little bit later, you just want to keep that window narrow. Like you don't want to be eating throughout the day. Like when I was a trainer, I was like, every 2 hours, you got to keep your metabolism stoked, like all that stuff that we all hear. The evidence is so strong that less time in the fed state is so advantageous, not just for weight loss, but for health span and longevity as well. So it's a good thing just to eat less frequently and to just have either one or two meals closer together, whenever part of the day that is. Like me and Ray are like the opposite. I love, like, by like 12 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to eat. Danielle, we have our 1 o'clock time together, right? We both love to eat at 1 o'clock because we're like waiting for 1 o'clock. And then I'm fine. If I could have one big meal, I could even have like two small meals, and then I'm done like 3, 4 o'clock, and I'm totally fine for the rest of the day. And Raymond's like, "Oh, is it time to eat?" No, it's not time to eat. Like he's just not hungry at all for hours, and I'm like, "Come on, let's," because we're trying to like sync up our schedule so we could eat together when I'm here. And but like 6 7 p.m., 9 p.m., that's when he gets really hungry. So I think that what I've noticed with all of our clients too is that there's some people that err on the side of earlier and some that err on the side of later. I think that's probably habit. Ray would say, right? You're
yeah, I
busy
think
over
it's
there, but
habit.
you would say everything is about habit.
Yeah, for some reason my camera just keeps trying to switch to my laptop camera instead of our stream camera. So I'm not sure why it keeps doing that, but I'm having to I don't know how many times it's done this over the time. So
Sarah said, wait, you
has
guys
it
talk about
mostly
the
been our
techno.
videos that keep switching off?
Christine is 11 and a tour. Sarah says, yes, I'm finding 2 meals adequate and maybe some afternoon fruits or veggies. Sarah, do you do it early, the first, like the 10 or 11, and then, or what's your window? I'm just curious. And then, oh, Kathy tried our Rotel cheese soup. Yay. Yeah, we love that recipe too. Ray really loves it. I never knew what Rotel was, never even heard of it. And he's been so excited. Like, this is his favorite recipe ever, I think, because he's so excited to have Rotel in something. Um, and then Samuel asked, non-dietary related, tell us more about Huntsville, Alabama. Good, sweet home Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama. Let's see if I can make this work.
They have a Huntsville in Canada.
Yeah, so Huntsville is
I didn't know
sort of the
that.
birthplace of the U.S. space program in some sense. After the World War II, the German rocket scientists that were surrendered to the U.S. Came to originally to Fort Bliss, and then they actually relocated them here to the Redstone Arsenal, and so Huntsville was this sleepy cotton town for all the time before that, and then it became this high-tech hub. We created the Saturn V and ultimately the propulsion elements of the shuttle. And then we built space station here. So that was when I was actually still at NASA. Every single day I walked by where one of my teaching labs was. I would walk by and see space station as it was being built down in this clean room. It was really kind of cool to be able to do that. But anyway, it's a neat town because most people really aren't from here. Everybody comes here from some other place. More scientists and engineers per capita than Silicon Valley. It typically is always in the top, 10 or 11, 10 to 15 best places to live in America because it's a low cost of living, but you still have all the things that you would have anywhere else. It's really kind of a different place. You found it A lot.
Oh my gosh.
A lot
Well,
more
it's,
different.
yeah, I'm like a Los Angeles girl, like born and raised my whole entire life spent in the city, like total LA girl. And I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I really didn't spend that much time in the South except to hop over to give a talk, now and then, but I never really spent time here. And now for the last several years, I've spent a lot of time here and it's like amazing. Like everyone's so nice. Everyone's so incredibly nice. Like when we go, when we used to go to restaurants and they know exactly what we order, our steamed oil-free fajitas at our favorite Mexican restaurant and the market, they all know, they know us. And it's like amazing. What a concept. In LA, you never run into anyone or rarely run into anyone. And it's never like where you feel that like that comfortable vibe. And it's so beautiful here. It's so lush and green. And, it's so nice. I love to go for walks with Danner. I love to get out and it's just so beautiful here. So I love it. I've loved it here. And it's such an intelligent crowd here, I think, because of NASA and because of, I mean, obviously,
The
anywhere
Army.
Ray is and the Army.
It's not me.
Yeah. No, but you reflect perfectly what it's like here. I just think it's such a cool place. Well, Kate said, I'd love to hear some client stories and what they eat, how they exercise in their new lifestyle. Ooh, you want to know everything.
We're going to be interviewing something like that.
Yeah.
So we've got some more client stories coming up and we'll be interviewing them.
Well, and Kate, you should check out our podcast because we've interviewed Penn Jillette talked about his, the last few years, last couple years, I guess, or year since the book. And then also John Henney, who's amazingly inspirational. His story is on there. I don't know what episode John was, but it says it's John Henney. It's Today is Everything, Today is Nothing, or Today is Nothing. That's one of our favorite episodes. And those are some stories about their success and how they got their journey. And we will be having more.
Yeah, this is what it really comes down to. Until the new diet is equally convenient, familiar, enjoyable. Oops, there it goes again. Dang it. Until the new diet is equally convenient, familiar, enjoyable, you don't have a choice. One or more of those will dominate your plate. So when we're really talking about eating, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, mushrooms, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices, the fact of the matter is that it's just habit. Everything about food is habit. And so what we do with our clients, we just simply have unyielding accountability. That's really what it takes. There's nothing magic we can tell somebody.
Because everything's in our book.
But yeah, everything's out there. It's their book. You're just eat less often, and eat these foods.
Eat those recipes,
right?
Yeah.
So that there's really nothing more you can tell a person. But I know, because I've been there, in terms of that idea that there must be something magic, or I'm trying to do everything. And I think everybody's very surprised at how little food it really takes. If you've done a long-term fast, it's maybe not as surprising. Man, this is crazy, Kenny. That I can't keep the broadcast live.
Kenny's from my neck of the woods.
There you go.
How you doing, Kenny, out there? How is it? How's LA? You holding down the fort? Miss you. It's so nice to see you here.
Yeah, so that's what it really takes. And I think that once you get that part down, once you are able to, focus on these foods and then just continue to eat less and less, but getting on the scale every day, the only people that don't like to get on the scale every day are people that aren't making progress. I mean, this is just that's just the way it is. People that are making progress love to get on the scale. They love to see the progress every single day. Even when they have bad days, they sort of laugh and joke. We make everything fun when we coach people. So that's one big difference. There's no empathy. We substitute humor for empathy because, look, empathy is great when a person is in a situation where it's completely out of their control. If it's congenital disease, if it's a terminal illness that there isn't a cure for, that's not going to be reversed easily with diet. But if it's blood pressure and diabetes, at least type 2 diabetes, if it's cardiovascular disease, or in terms of, bad blood lipid panels, etc., those kinds of things are just diet. And we just joke. We joke about it. All of us have a great time. We make sure that our clients are comfortable with that kind of approach. If mostly we try to talk everybody out of working with us. So if there's one thing we do universally, is if you reach out, if you call us, don't be surprised. Our goal is to say, what you need to know is in our book. You can do this on your own. You don't really need us to help. And if you're going to do this, this is the way we're going to do it. We're not going to make exceptions. You're not special. Nobody's special. Anybody can do this, and everyone is going to get the exact same results. We have not seen a difference in results in hundreds of clients. They all happen the same. And when I first told Juliana this, when we first started working together, and I first started telling Juliana this, and she can tell you,
Tell me what?
well, when I first started telling you that everybody was the same.
Oh, yeah. But I was taught opposite. No, everyone's slightly different. And there's this kind of fear thing, like, you make sure, like, as a dietitian, you have to be very careful. Like, well, make sure that, you can't tell them that, like, there's all these parameters, like you can only lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. You can only, and everyone's got, if they have an allergy or if they have, maybe their hormones are different. And it just kind of balloons into these, like, all these crazy ideas. You're like, you kind of worry, like, what if I'm missing something? What if I'm missing something? What if I'm missing something? And I was always very sensitive to, like, okay, what's unique about you and your situation? And when someone says, I really have to eat all day, or I don't feel good. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's their unique thing. But then I realized that no, these are real biological reactions to the environment and to what people are eating. So
Yeah.
I've quickly learned, really quickly, when we started putting people through this very regimented program, and we'd have like several people start at the same time, and everyone had the exact same experience. And now we've done it, hundreds of times together at this point, probably. Hundreds, couple hundred,
at
maybe,
least.
together. And everyone has the same, like, on the same day they'll get, and what's great is that they'll get an email in the mail and they'll be like, I can't believe it's like you were reading my mind, because that what happened, we predicted, because it's so common. So that was kind of a relief to go, wait a second, we're all very similar. And the other key to that is that everything about food is habit.
Yep.
I think that you can change your habits if you want to.
Yeah.
So, well,
let's bring this to a close.
Yes.
Thank you guys for hanging out while we were shaking down some bugs. I found one right now that I have to figure out, because for some reason, if anybody out there has been doing Facebook live streams and you've had in your setup it not choosing like it's doing right now, that it always is defaulting to the system camera instead of the one that is the streaming camera coming in, the switcher coming in. If anybody has any input, you can email us at admin@healthspansolution.com or comment on here, and I'll be reading the comments on here later. But we'll have to work that out. But anyway, thanks a lot for joining us. We have our little end of our music here.
Yeah,
that
we can
bring
sign off the way we always sign off on our podcast. Thank you for joining us on this leafy green path to good health.
It's always the food, so remember, keep eating right.
Thank you for listening to Science and Saucery. For more details about the content in today's show, or to contact Juliana and Ray, please visit us at healthspansolution.com.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life.
I love Dave Anderson.
I love him too.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun.
Please send us your feedback. What do you want to hear about? We'll check back in. We'll be back.
All that you wrote.